afternoon, everybody. It is me, the fabulous Leo Brown, and I am here to tell you what I know for sure. And what I want to talk about to start this series off, I want to talk about something that is important that we do, but a lot of us don't do it, and that is the art and act of forgiveness. Okay? Forgiveness, when done from a pure place, when done from a true place, is a beautiful thing. And let me tell you how I know this. Growing up, I had a very abusive mother. Very abusive mother. Very, very emotionally and verbally and even physically abusive to me and my elder sister. And from 16 until I would say 32, my mother and I did not get along. From the age of 16 until 32 years old. We did not, we couldn't even be in the same room. My mother didn't like the fact that I was gay. My mother didn't like the fact that I hung around people of different hues, if you get my drift. My mother did not like the fact that I became Wiccan or pagan. Anything that was different from what she saw or thought I should live, she couldn't stand it. Because she felt that it was an act that I was being defiant, or in her word, disobedient. And we had a very, very, very volatile and a very tumultuous relationship, and very tempestuous, and very at times very chaotic, and to the point to where it would pull other people into it. Excuse me. Now, fast forward to now. My mother and I will never be. This is one thing I've come to learn. Okay, my mother and I will never be BFFs. My mother and I will never be that kind of mother and son duo that I wanted for us, but we would be very close and we'd go shopping and all that kind of stuff. That will never happen. Now, does that mean that my mother and I cannot be civil? We can. We can be civil. We can be respectful. But the only way that we really came to a place where we became civil with one another was by me first forgiving her, and more importantly, me forgiving myself. Because there was a lot of guilt. Because I felt, okay, I'm not pleasing her. Because growing up, I was a mama's boy. My mother to me walked on water. Honestly. But through all the years of fighting, I became tired. And how I knew I was tired of she and I fighting each other, and also me fighting myself, was one day she called me out of the blue. Just out of the blue, she just called me just to check on me. And this was during the time where she and I, we were actually on speaking terms. Because there were times where we didn't speak at all. But she called me just to check on me, and as she was talking, she would often repeat herself. She would often say the same sentence over and over again, or she would speak slower than normal. And now, mind you, this comes from someone, coming from me, this comes from someone who I don't even have a picture of my mom in my house. Okay? I have nothing that really reminds me of her. I have some things that she's given me over the years, but do I have an actual picture of my mother? No, I don't. But in that conversation, I realized in that moment, I said, you know what? She's getting older. I'm getting older. I have to move on. Because I will admit, I used a lot of what she put me through as ammunition. I was like, well, ooh, I got something for you, bitch. You didn't put me through the shit. And I got something to use. And I think she did the same thing. And one day, I just decided, I said, you know what, let me call her and tell her that I forgive her for what she did. Because oftentimes, parents don't know how to be parents. And my mother was one of them. She just didn't know how to be a parent. She did what she knew. My mother came also from an abusive household with her mother and her father. So when she had myself and my sister, she didn't know what to do. She really didn't. She just did what she knew, and she just felt, okay, well, I'm not beating them until the blood comes out, so they're okay. But I had to come to a place of forgiveness, not only for her but for me, because it was weighing me down. It was weighing me down, and it was hard for me to really to say, you know what, I don't forget what you've done, but I forgive you. And here's the thing. I don't forget the things that she's put me through. I don't forget my past. My past has made me who I am today. I wouldn't be able to sit up here and tell you this if I didn't go through what I went through. If I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But today I choose not to be weighed down. And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is where you choose to no longer be weighed down by your past, by your circumstances, by life itself. And when you learn to forgive not only the person or persons who have hurt you and who have wronged you, but when you learn to forgive yourself, life becomes a beautiful thing. And I have to tell you, my life is beautiful. And I've come to a place where, I accept her for who she is. Do I like the things that she does? Hell no. Do I like her? No, I don't. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like my mom. And I shouldn't say I don't like her. There are certain things about her I don't like. But, we've had conversations about this. There are certain things about me she doesn't like. And that's okay. You don't have to like everything about a person. Okay? But do I love her? Yes, I do. Because she gave me life. She is my mother. Do I see her as a human being? Yes, I do. So that means if you are disrespectful, if you're crude, if you're rude, then I have a right to defend myself. And the same goes for her. Now we can have a conversation. Now we can open up a little bit. We're not BFFs, but we can really have a decent conversation where I don't feel intimidated by her. I'm not afraid of her because I realize she's a human being just like me. And also I don't feel guilty. I'm free of guilt for living my life. Because there was a long time where I felt very guilty for living the life that I wanted to live on my own terms. So what I'm saying to all of you is, in this message, forgive now. Heal now. Life is too short to carry these burdens of pain, of hurt, of guilt, of whatever you want to call it, on your shoulders. Because I guarantee you, the persons or the person who has hurt you or harmed you, they're living their life. They're not thinking the way that we are, the way that we may be repeating and replaying what has happened to us in our minds and in our hearts and in our spirits. They're not doing that, I guarantee you. So the only person that is truly hurting is yourself. And when you truly learn to forgive from the heart, when you truly learn to forgive from the spirit, from a spiritual place, life becomes a beautiful existence. And it becomes worth living again. Now, I'm not saying forgive someone and forget what they've done. No. No. Don't forget what they've done. Use that as, you know what, I've been there, I've done it, I bought the t-shirt. I've lived through it. But forgive them enough to say, you know what, you might have put me through that, but that's not who I am now. That was who I was then. Because maybe on some level I allowed this to happen. And I'm telling you, when you learn to forgive yourself and you learn to let go and forgive others, life becomes a beautiful thing. I am Leo Brown, and this is what I know for sure. Bye-bye.